is the Elevated Look Show, hosted by Mark Stampfly.
Donny Flowers, great to have you here. I know we've been trying to get this thing going for a little while, but we're finally here. Excited to kind of like learn a little bit more about you today. For the people who don't know who Donny Flowers is, why don't you just kind of give us like just a brief little bit about yourself?
All right, thank you. I appreciate you having me here. Yeah, I'm glad we were able to finally to work it out. But yeah, I'm Donny Flowers. Let's see, where should I start? I was born in the Philippines.
Okay.
My mom's Filipino, and my dad was American, and he was from Maine. I grew up in Maine, so very, very different from here.
East Coast.
Like cold winters and 4 seasons. I kind of miss the fall. Fall was nice with the foliage and everything. Summers were nice, but like it would get humid too. So like out here, it's like amazing living out in California. But
How long have you been here?
In California, I moved here in 2009.
Okay, so a little bit then.
Yeah, so I grew up in Maine, and what I do out there, I started playing football really young, like 5th grade, all the way through 12th. But what I really liked was wrestling.
Okay.
I started kind of late. I was a sophomore in high school.
Okay.
But I loved it.
Is that late? That's late for wrestling?
Yeah, and especially like over there, there's a lot more programs like younger. Like even in the schools, like in middle school, they had like team wrestling. But out here, I don't really find it in middle school. It's more just clubs.
Okay.
And then high school teams. But it's like a little sporadic, you know? Sometimes you'll find some schools that have it, and then like a bunch of schools that don't have it at all.
So you think like, is wrestling bigger in the East Coast?
I think so. I mean, there's really great wrestling out here in California.
Okay.
It's just, it's not so condensed, you know?
Gotcha.
On the East Coast, it's like, oh yeah,
everywhere.
they have wrestling.
Maybe because it's like, it's colder out there.
Yeah.
It's like one of those indoor sports you can do.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And yeah, like Idaho and like Midwest.
Yeah.
It's
Probably
huge
some really
over
good
there.
wrestlers there.
But yeah, I really loved wrestling, and I was like only guy from my class to go on to wrestle in college. I wrestled for University of Southern Maine, and
nice.
even became the captain of the wrestling team, so I was pretty proud of that. Really cool. And then, when was it? Like my junior year in college, that summer I was like bored in the off season of wrestling, just lifting weights. Like it just gets boring compared to wrestling and grappling and all that. It's like it's different. You know? So I was looking for something similar. And then my buddy kept asking me for like almost a month. I was like, he was telling me to do Jiu-Jitsu. I was like, that sounds stupid. I don't want to do like karate stuff. And it's totally different from karate, like not even close. But besides, they wear a uniform.
Why did you feel like it? Like, what was it? Like you were instantly turned off by it? Why did you feel like it was stupid? Like the stigma behind it. Is that how like a lot of the East Coast people kind of viewed it?
No,
or?
I don't think East Coast. Like just in general, I feel like there's a lot of people that think martial arts is lame, or I don't know. I mean, there are a lot of people like martial arts, but I don't know. Just like the arts that do katas and stuff like that, they're just standing there and kind of looks like almost like dancing, and then they get their belts so fast and this and that. But what I loved about jiu-jitsu was like it's real, it's realistic, and
you can use it in like a real fight.
You can use it in a real fight. I mean, I'm sure in other martial arts there's a lot of things you can use too, but I think jiu-jitsu is more complete, you know. And most fights are going to end up on the ground anyway. And jiu-jitsu, most of the time, we're focusing a lot on the ground. So it teaches you what to do down there. Whereas other just standing martial arts, they don't really address what you do on the ground and how do you get it back to the feet, you know, because there's not always going to be a referee or a coach
exactly.
Say, okay, guys, stand up, keep it fair, you know. So that's why I really like jiu-jitsu. And you get to train 100% every day. Whereas like anything else, for example, like boxing, even if you're sparring, you wouldn't spar 100% every single day because you're constantly getting hit or avoiding it or hitting someone else. And then let's say someone gets knocked out, they're not going to just get back up and start sparring again. Like that's not healthy. So jiu-jitsu, we can train 100%, like as hard as we're going, like what we would do in a competition, or if we're in a fight, or whatever type of training we're doing. We can do it as hard as we want, to the point where my arm is going to snap in half, the bones are going to break, and I just tap my partner, we slap hands, and we start fighting again, you know? Or, you know, you're getting choked, you just tap, and then you stop, and you restart, and you're going again, without like, there's like less risk for injury or something that's going to stop you from training. So I feel like in jiu-jitsu you can really hone in on your craft and your style and what you do in jiu-jitsu and really work on it over and over and over.
And kind of get better faster because of
and
that?
I take that aspect from wrestling too, because like wrestling, you do that a lot in wrestling too. Same thing in wrestling, you can go 100%,
really,
but like wrestling, you kind of burn out a little more because it's so fast the whole time. It's different periods. Like wrestling, they're usually like 2-minute periods. So you go hard as you can for 2 minutes, and then you rest a little bit, and you go as hard as you can for 2 minutes. But like jiu-jitsu, like black belt matches, we have just a 10-minute straight match. There's no periods. Like if we go out of bounds or like a foul happens, like maybe they'll stop the clock for a little bit. But for the most part, it's 10 minutes.
You just keep going.
So you can't have the same pace you would for a 2-minute period than you can have for a 10, because you're going to be dead.
So that endurance seems pretty nuts. I mean, I know wrestlers in general, like you have to have you build that endurance. They build it up, I don't know. I never wrestled, but I had friends that did that, and they told me about like the whole buckets thing. Like there were literally buckets like where you throw up like and then come back, and I don't know if that was your experience, but they would push them. They would push them like really hard. Yeah. And how do you kind of build up that endurance? Like that seems like something. Is that something that kind of just genetically you kind of
so partially you build up your endurance from doing it so much, you better and better, you can last longer and longer, and your cardio for wrestling or jiu-jitsu or whatever it is gets better.
But is that just through the training, or are you also doing other stuff on top of that?
Yeah, other stuff too.
Okay.
But what was I saying, for jiu-jitsu, it's like it's not that pace the whole time, because there's a lot of certain positions where you can breathe a little bit, But like if you're in like a dangerous position, it's like, okay, you got to make sure everything's in the right spot, and you got to get out of there. The longer you're there, it's like quicksand, But there are times where you can be like in a dominant position, and you can kind of hang on a little bit, catch your breath, and then conserve it to where you do need some more explosive energy and stuff like that.
Is it kind of a little bit like how much? Because it's very physical, obviously, this endurance. But is like, what about the mentality, the mindset, and almost like the chess match nature of it? Is there a lot of that going on? Like
absolutely,
or is it if you get some guy who's just like a beast, he's gonna have just by being a beast, or is it like, well, you can kind of outmaneuver that guy,
Yeah, I mean it depends. If you're super strong, athletic, and super technical, like it's gonna be hard to beat that person, But like if you're super strong and athletic, but you have very little technique, or you don't understand the positioning or what the leverage is like, or even just knowing like where you are. When I teach like a lot of private classes to my students, and I always talk about, I call it like a jiu-jitsu ladder.
Okay.
So like think of the bottom rung. That's the worst place you want to be.
Okay.
The top rung is the best place you want to be. You got to climb your way up. But if you don't even know what rung you're on, like you're gonna just waste a lot of energy, and you're probably always gonna end up on the bottom.
My favorite fighter is GSP, George St. Pierre. He's my favorite, and I think I liked him because he brought both this, physicality, but he's probably not the most like naturally genetic, but his training is like at another level. So he's physically a beast because
I love
of his
him
training.
Because he didn't wrestle.
And he didn't wrestle, but he became
such an amazing wrestler.
He could incorporate new techniques, new styles, different martial arts in such a way I don't think anybody has done it to that level. And I also respected that he was a very cerebral fighter. Like he would really think about like what game he was going to play with each different fight he got into.
Strategy.
So you have that, but then you have like another favorite fighter of mine, like Fedor. Fedor was a beast.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say he was the smartest guy, but he was just, you wouldn't want to see that kind of alley.
Yeah. Have you been watching MMA and UFC and all that for a while?
Yeah, I go here and like I'm a huge fan of UFC. I kind of based on like how busy I am, but I definitely follow it. Ever since my friends and I picked up the VHS tapes from Blockbuster Video, and we're like, what is this thing? And we're watching like UFC 6.
Yeah.
And back then it was like, man, no holds, like groin hit, like anything. But what was really cool, I think what got me into it to begin with was this whole mixed, like, oh wow, like you have this karate guy versus like jiu-jitsu guy, like who's gonna win? Like,
remember
really
that one? I forget the one fight. The one guy had one boxing glove on.
Oh really?
Yeah, the hand he wanted to punch with it. Yeah, it's crazy how much it's changed, but that's cool. You actually got more involved with it before me. I think I started watching around because I started jiu-jitsu in 2006. I didn't even know what it was before that. So I actually wrestled for University of Southern Maine, and one of our assistant coaches, alumni from the team, Mike Brown, and he was a high school wrestler in Maine, and then also went on to wrestle for USM.
Okay.
And then after he graduated, he'd come and assist and help be one of the coaches. And then one year, they were like, yeah, Coach Mike, he's going to do a fight. I was like, what do you mean a fight? And then he was in the UFC. He fought Genki Sudo.
Really?
And then all of the buddies, we all got to it.
How exciting.
We lived in we called it the wrestling house. You know, a bunch of the wrestlers, we all had this like bachelor pad. It was great in college, and we all met over there and watched the fights. And it was just cool. I remember just watching it, and that's Coach Mike. And he's in there in this octagon. And like I didn't know what was going on.
Wrestlers did good though in general.
He did well, but Genki Sudo ended up catching him in a triangle choke, and I don't even know what it was.
Okay.
I was like, what is he doing? He's choking him with his legs. That's weird. And then he won. I think that's how it went. But then Mike kept going on. He became like one of the top fighters. I think he was like had the belt for WEC. Do you remember WEC?
A little bit, yeah.
It was like another organization. UFC ended up buying it. But he's really cool, and now he's like one of the best coaches right now. He coaches down in Florida.
Oh really? Oh wow, yeah.
Like Masvidal trains with him, and I forget another female right now, just one. She's really good, but so it's kind of cool to see like the MMA community, and kind of like it's huge now, but like it's cool to see part of it like being a small world. Like oh yeah, I know this guy or I know them.
I think it kind of helped also like all the other like it kind of helped wrestling. It kind of helped like it brought. Even though it's its own thing, it kind of brought attention to those other areas too.
Yeah.
Like even boxing, like I never really watched boxing, but it kind of got me into watching boxing occasionally,
Yeah, and with all the social media stuff lately too. But I remember just not really knowing any of that. Or like with wrestling, that's what I was going to say. With wrestling, anyone would say wrestling, they would always think WWE or WWF.
Oh, yeah. That's not...
Even my first year I wrestled, two of my buddies from the high school wrestling football team, they were my friends, and they invited me to wrestle. I said, what do you mean wrestle? We're going to bring some metal chairs and hit each other and stuff. Yeah. Like, no, dude, real wrestling. I was like, what's that? And then we're in these little singlets and stuff, and like, this is weird. Yeah. And but man, I just loved it. It's cool. A lot of camaraderie with the team, and taught me how to stay in shape. And that's what I love about sports is like I've always had like kind of father figures with my coaches. Because my dad passed away when I was pretty young. I was like 93.
Okay.
Died of cancer. So I grew up without a father. So it was like tough times a lot.
Yeah.
Just like not knowing how to deal with a bully or how to talk to girls or a lot of stuff. My mom's an immigrant from the Philippines. When she moved to Maine, she like could barely understand English and super thick. She still has a super thick accent, Filipino accent.
Okay.
And so there was certain stuff that she couldn't teach me that usually a father would teach.
So the coaches
I think she did a great job raising me. I'm not bragging, but like really proud of how well she raised me. And
that's a tough job, single mom. Like
Yeah. And I got 3 siblings. So I'm the oldest of 4, and I'm the shortest of 4.
Okay.
But I'm taller than my mom, so that's good.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I got two younger brothers and a younger sister.
We got that low center of gravity, man. That helps, man.
Well, neither of them are interested in any of that stuff. I tried to get them to do jiu-jitsu they've tried.
None of your other siblings got into any of that?
No.
Oh.
Charlie and Tasha tried like one class.
Are they over on the East Coast still, or were they? Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yep.
So how did you transition then to? Because I just saw on your social media, and you told me a little bit about that you were going for your 2nd degree black belt in jiu-jitsu, and congratulations.
Thank you very much.
That's phenomenal.
It was yesterday. I was like, I've been dreading it since because when you get your stripes in jiu-jitsu or promotions in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, like for people who don't know, like how does it work? How do you get to that level? Like what's people think what do you do to get each belt, and then there's different levels of the black belt.
So each team is a little different, and some schools they'll do testing, which I think is cool. Some don't. They'll just when the professor believes you're ready, or they see that you're consistent enough and that you're applying what you're learning at a certain level, you kind of compare to people at other ranks, and then graduate you when they feel you earn it. But that's what I love about jiu-jitsu. Like, everyone can do jiu-jitsu, and everyone's level of where they're at is different. So like there's so many great metaphors in jiu-jitsu. I've always related a lot of my my life to sports, but now more so jiu-jitsu, because like you shouldn't compare yourself to someone else. Oh, this person's a purple belt, I should be a purple belt, or this and that. It's like you compare yourself to yourself. Like, how was I last year at this time? Did I know this position, or was I, good on bottom? Was I better on top? Or what submissions was I doing and stuff? In jiu-jitsu, it's not like a lot of other martial arts, like I kind of mentioned earlier, where like I feel like I haven't done other martial arts, so I shouldn't be talking crap about them. But from just what I hear or see, like they get belts quick, or people just kind of, hey, I'm paying, and okay, here's your belt. But in jiu-jitsu, it's very much you have to earn it. And it goes, for kids are different, but once you're the year you turn 15 or 16, you can qualify for the adult belts. And then it's white, blue, purple, brown, black. And probably like around the fastest now, around like 8 years to get to black.
Wow. That's
there's been a bunch of
investment of.
There's been a bunch of professors, like my professor Orlando. He's a freak. He got his in 4 years.
Oh wow.
Although nowadays, with it becoming bigger and the regulations and everything with the federations and the competition and all that, they make a minimum amount of time that you should be at each belt.
Okay.
So.
But then now you're going from different degrees of like. How long does it take then to get to the next degree?
Yeah,
you got a black belt.
Yeah.
How long down did it take to get to that?
So hopefully I don't mess it up. I have my goals and stuff, so hopefully it's not wrong. But like white, blue, purple, brown, black. Usually about 8 years. It took me 8 years.
Okay.
I would say a lot of people like 10 years. But so yeah, I started in 2006, and then I got my black belt when I was 29.
Okay.
Which was 2014.
Okay.
And then, so once you're black belt, it's like if you're training consistent and your professor sees that you're being good for the jiu-jitsu community and staying active and helping out, or whatever it is you do. Like that's like I was saying earlier about jiu-jitsu, it's for everyone. Some people compete a lot, try to be like high level.
Sure.
Some people never compete and they just want to focus on teaching.
Just like
some people just like are there just to have a nice hobby.
Yeah.
So like it's something for everyone. Keep people healthy.
Yeah.
And damn, where was I going with that? The belts. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So now you're black belt. So after that, it's the first 3 degrees are 3 years each.
So is a black belt the first degree then? Do they count it? Or
no, a black belt is a black belt, and then there's not a degree.
So first degree black belt is after black belt.
So after 3 years, which was 2017 for me, I got my first degree. So I have been a first degree black belt for a while.
That's like those are the biggest jumps. I mean, that's a long.
That's the shortest.
That's crazy. Yeah,
for black.
Yeah.
The other belts are going to be much faster than black, but and then there's actually different types of black belts too. Okay. But anyway, first 3 are 3 years each, so that's like a total of 9 years. Okay. I was actually a little late.
Okay.
I was supposed to get it was 6 years already last October.
Gee.
But with pandemic and everything, my professor he used to do like ceremonies like every 6 months or so. But pandemic kind of put a halt on that stuff. But we just had it yesterday, so I got it after 7 years. But luckily, I think it's still in the record, so they backdate it. So now my 3rd stripe I'm going to get in about 2 years.
Oh, okay, there you go.
So that's pretty cool.
Wow.
So in 2 years, I'll have had my black belt for 9 years. So that's 3 degrees. Okay, so that's the first 3. Second 3.
So do you have to test or anything for the next degree?
No, usually they don't. But there are some schools that do.
It's a more matter of as long as you're practicing, it's just a matter of time, kind of.
And it's usually like just judged by your professor, or the person that promotes you, or who you train under.
Okay.
But there's a lot of black belts too that don't even train with their professor anymore because they do their own thing. They own everything, but they still make time to communicate with them and or visit and so forth. But so first 3 are 3 years each. Second 3 are 5 years each.
Wow.
So it's getting a lot of time.
Yeah, that's a lot of time.
So then that's 6 degrees. Then you earn, they call it a red and black belt or a coral belt. So it's still technically a black belt, but it goes black, red, all the way around like that snake.
Wow, okay.
So then...
Is that where you hope to get to?
No, I'm going to keep going. Because that's the first one after black belt. And then, so I'll have that for 7 years. And then the next stripe, you get rid of that belt and they give you the next belt, which is a red and white belt. Kind of looks like a candy cane. Okay. Okay, so red, white, all the way around. And then that one lasts 10 years.
Oh, wow.
So Master Carlos Gracie Jr., who owns my team, Gracie Baja, we have around like 800 schools around the world, so he's the leader of that team. and the direct son of Carlos Gracie Sr., who created Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, him
Amazing.
and his brother Helio. So then after that is the final belt, which is 10 years at that belt, the red and white one, and then you get the final belt, which is the solid red belt. That's the highest you can be.
What are we, like 60, 70 years old by
Yeah,
that point?
so the minimum, so let's say I had gotten my black belt when I was 19, the youngest allowed.
Okay.
Or the year you turn 19 is the youngest you're allowed to get. Because they don't want to, that's the other thing with other martial arts. More talking crap about them, but come on, you're going to see a little 8-year-old with a black belt.
No,
they're not going to beat up an adult, you know. But someone who's a jiu-jitsu black belt, they're going to be pretty good, you know. There's some crazy teenagers that are just blue belts that would really, like whoop on some pretty strong adults, you know. And then so if you're 19, then the youngest you could be to be a red belt if you stay consistent is 67.
Okay.
So I got my black belt at 29.
Okay.
So when I'm 77, I'll be a red belt.
Wow.
And I'm still going to compete.
Amazing.
Which is cool because like they have masters divisions.
Okay, so you can
like,
basically train with people in your...
Yeah, close to it, but yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. That's pretty cool. That's really cool.
So yeah, that's the main goal with jiu-jitsu is compete at red belt after I'm 77.
And then, so you're competing now, and what, like, is it, like, what is the group, or, like, is it a certain, division, or how do you
I mainly compete, like, there's the tournament called the IBJJF, but there's a bunch of different organizations that compete, and it's great. There's a lot of pro ones now, too, which is really cool, but I haven't competed in a little while. I've been so busy during the pandemic and stuff. And then lately, I gained a lot of weight, too, so I got to change my weight class. You don't look like it. Oh, well, thanks, but, I mean, if you look at my pictures, the last tournament I did, would have to cut down to 124 pounds.
Okay, what's your
so
like, normal
around
walking
that time,
yeah,
and up until September, I was walking around at 135 to 140.
Okay.
But I would cut down to 24 for competition day, and then just you blow back. It's
as
mostly
soon as you
water
drink the
weight,
water, right? Yeah.
But then September, and I just started lifting like crazy. I go to I don't know if you heard of Bradley Martin, but he owns a gym in Woodland Hills called Zoo Culture. It's pretty popular. It's really cool. It's fun. Really cool people there. But I've been lifting there, and I just be like following his program and lifting as much as I can. And like a month, I gained like 27 pounds.
Wow.
Like 167 now. Yeah.
You're 167?
Yeah. So
wow, man.
All the way down
serious.
to Rooster, which is 120. Yeah. It's actually 127, but with the gi on, you compete with the gi on.
Okay. So you have to compete in a different weight division now?
So that's 4 weight classes up because it goes 127, but I'm subtracting the gi because you wear the uniform on.
Okay.
So depending on how much your uniform weighs, you have to lose that weight.
Oh, really?
You know what I mean? Like if I'm 127 and then I put the gi on, I'll be over 3 or 4 pounds, so I'll be disqualified.
Jeez.
So you have to have to check that
crazy.
stuff. So 127 is Rooster, 141.5 is light featherweight.
Okay.
And then 154 is featherweight, and then 168 is lightweight.
But then you're getting close to what? So is it welterweight as well in jiu-jitsu? Is that the next one? So welterweight after that?
I've never competed heavier than 68, so
that'd be like 170.
I forget the others, but there's like
because that in the UFC,
middleweight, heavyweight.
UFC is like around 170 for welterweight.
Yeah, they're different. I like to just say the number because I'm a wrestler.
People understand that a little better too.
I can't stand when people are like if the weight class is 135 and then the one below that is 130. Yeah. People are like, yeah, my weight class is 130 to 135. Why are you saying that? Don't say 130. If you're 130, you would wrestle at 130. Yeah. You know? But yeah, it's kind of like one of my pet peeves. But yeah, I just like to say just like what the number is, and then because that's what gives me the goal to make that weight, you know? Okay. But I don't want to compete at 160. Those guys are beasts.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
They're cutting down too. So maybe I'll get down to featherweight.
Okay. What about in terms of like the working out in also trying to be like fast and flexible with jiu-jitsu? Like, is it kind of counterproductive? Like, is there a certain balance you kind of have to hit? Because obviously you want that strength. Yeah. But you're not like, you added a lot of muscle on. Like, is that like? So at first, do they tell you to do like? Is that good? Is that?
At first, it was a little tough because then I would go on the mat like. My cardio, I'd be dying. Yeah. I'd be less flexible. But then I just been trying to find that balance. I add in the bike riding. I have a road bike. I really like that. Cervelo. It's so fun. It's like my buddy gave me a good deal on it. But it's like carbon fiber. It's super light. Oh, nice. So like I'll go for rides like between 23 to 40 miles. Oh, nice. That's really cool. It's great for the cardio and make my legs feel stronger. But I'll do that, and then of course the weightlifting at Zoo Culture. and then just like a lot of jiu-jitsu. You know, I train at a bunch of different jiu-jitsu clubs or academies in the area, and yeah, that's pretty much what I do. Just try to mix in cardio, weightlifting, and jiu-jitsu training.
So what would you say, like, you know, that's a lot of stuff. Like, if somebody wants to compete at a high level, like, what would you give them a certain kind of general breakdown on, like, tips? Like, hey, you got to work out at least, like, 3 to 5 times a week. Got to get, like, what would be your kind of breakdown?
I would try to think of something like that for someone, but everyone's different. There's some people that say, like, no, jiu-jitsu only, just only train jiu-jitsu, you'll be good at it. And I understand their point of view, and then, but then also, like, there's a lot of things that need, like, explosive, strong movements in a competition, so I can see where weightlifting or maybe Olympic lifting or whatever type of lifting people do. So I don't like to pick it for other people, but for myself, I'm kind of doing what I like right now. And I've been training Mario's son a lot, and so
that's what I was going to get into next, because we met on a shoot with Mario Lopez.
Yeah,
and
such an amazing family. I love them. They're awesome.
Yeah, they were super nice, and you know, I was kind of curious to see, you know, you guys have the Lopez show.
Yeah.
You just kind of started a YouTube channel and this kind of brand where it's you and his son Nico, right?
Nico, Dominic.
Nico. And so you guys kind of co-host this, do a podcast together. And can you tell me about that? Like, how did that start? And
yeah,
like,
sure.
What are you guys looking to do with that?
Yeah, I mean, I've been training Nico since he was 3, like the first class I trained, he was training at Gracie Baja Glendale in a kids jiu-jitsu class.
Okay.
And you know, not long after that, Mario started training as well. And then I was going through like a really tough time right before the pandemic.
Okay.
And then the pandemic happened, and it was like even worse, made it even worse. And then I was like homeless. I had nowhere to stay.
Oh no.
And you know, a friend of mine let me stay at his place, so that was nice. But like I didn't have my own place to live. And I was just kind of struggling, really depressed. And I talked about this a little bit too on my promotion yesterday. That's what I was saying. I was dreading the promotion because like I always cry at him at the promotion. And I was wondering, like, what are we going to talk about today? Am I going to get all crying in front of the camera in my first podcast?
Okay.
But yeah, so I was just like having a tough time, and he was just like, he didn't need to help me at all. Like, he just offered me to come stay in his guest house and trade for training his son. And I've just been trying my best to take care of him and help out whenever I can. And they've just been so amazing to me, like just all love. Like it's been great. It's really nice.
He's got. I watched your guys' first episode, and he has just so much like energy.
Oh yeah, he's just
charisma.
like his parents. Like those kids. You know, like, and then Gia's in the daughter. She's in the new movie. It's called Holiday in Santa Fe.
Oh okay.
And you know, Mari does like a lot of holiday movies. And this one's like awesome, really cool story, good movie. I liked it a lot. And Gia's like one of the stars in it.
Oh wow,
she's amazing.
That's great.
She's so good. I can't wait for everyone to see it. I got to see it a little early because I got to be in it.
Preview. Oh, you got to be in it.
A little part.
Yeah, I could have sworn. Were you also? You got a little role in the new Saved by the Bell.
Yeah, that too.
I saw on your social media. So
yeah.
Kind of expanding out into a little bit of acting now, or
yeah, maybe. Well, see, I'm just kind of.
Is that what you like that? Do you like that one?
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah.
I'd do it again. I'd love to. I think he's gonna do another movie, and hopefully I can get in that one. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
But I didn't intend to. I went out with him and the family to Santa Fe, because they were out there filming the movie and everything. And then Nico was gonna go out for a week, and Mario wanted Nico to keep training, so he invited me to come along and take him to wrestling practice and train with him while he was out there, and we did that. But then they were like, "Hey, we need an elf." I was like, "Oh, okay." And then I got in. I like have a little part. I'm like, well, not an elf, like sent as a little helper.
Okay.
And like have a little quick part in the movie. And
you get a
it's like kind of in the beginning.
It's
kind of in the beginning, and I got a line.
Oh, there you go.
So yeah, there were some other things where I was in the background that may or may not have been cut out.
Okay.
But this one I had a line, so they didn't take it out, and it's cool. And then I got to be in Saved by the Bell, and that was really cool because I am a wrestling coach. I coach wrestling at Luckingham High School, I coach for a club, and I have my own private wrestling students. And I got to be like in the background, being the wrestling coach for one of the girls that was wrestling in an episode.
That's awesome.
Really cool, yeah.
Very fun.
But yeah, you can see me in the background. I was like, this is cool, yeah.
Well, how did you, so then you kind of got into like actual like content creation now here too. How did that, like how has that process been, like learning YouTube, kind of getting into like the production? Because that you hadn't really, is that
No, I have no like previous experience with that stuff, but for a while with staying at Mario's, with a lot of stuff getting shut down, like he works for Access Hollywood, so I think they shut down the studios and stuff. So but they kept the show going because they would bring a small little crew to the house. Mario has like a beautiful home and like a nice area in the back outside, and they would film every morning, and I'd wake up and come down and help out if I can, or just watch, or I get to see cool people. Like he'd be like interviewing all kinds of celebrities and stuff. Oh my God, I can't believe you're talking to them. And Nico and Gio would sometimes go on and stuff too. So I would just do that as much as I could, and I would just kind of like be interested in how they were filming and make friends with the people that would come and ask them questions and stuff. And then just me and Nico, we just do so much fun things. Even on top of the wrestling and the jiu-jitsu and the competitions, he travels all around, does tournaments and stuff, and we go. So I try to, before I was just like putting it on my YouTube story, my Instagram story, and take pictures and stuff, and then I was like, hey, I should film more of this stuff and put it together. And then I did a few episodes with my phone, and we talked about it and it went well, and then I put them on my YouTube channel. But then I just like, then I was like, I want to do even better. I got a bunch of gear. I got a nice.
I know, yeah. You
showed
showed me earlier. You got a whole little portable studio set up here now.
Got a gimbal, got a laptop to edit and all this stuff. But I've just been filming a lot of stuff and putting all kinds of stuff together. But like,
it's a lot of work.
A lot of work, and I gotta figure out, maybe like get some people to help me and stuff. But I just gotta do it. I've been kind of like not pulling the trigger. I want to like just get into it, and I guess kind of like I don't want to put it out there if it's not good, but it'll get better. Like even if I put out some stuff that
exactly
not so great,
that's
like,
I think the one thing I've learned even from doing this show is consistency. Like you just got to keep going. Like you might have little breaks, like we have little breaks where we can't film as much, or but to keep putting it out, and rather than waiting for the perfect moment to do it, or the perfect moment
I know that's
put
what
it
I've
out.
been doing.
Yeah, because you want it to be good. You want it, but put it out, and you'll learn your lessons. So you're like, okay, the last show we did, the sound wasn't as good. Let's maybe switch mics.
Okay,
Let's do this. Or that segment didn't really work. Let's cut it out next time. And it keeps kind of getting better and better, and you learn more and more as you kind of go along.
Yeah, and then working out at Zoo Culture, those guys, there's tons of people that are doing all that stuff. Right?
Oh, really?
He's huge with that stuff.
For social media
YouTube
mostly, or
social media, YouTube.
Oh, YouTube as well.
They have podcasts and stuff too.
Is that part of the Zoo Culture brand, or is that just they let other like influencers and people?
Anyone that goes in there does their
filming
own.
A lot of stuff.
Yeah, anyone that goes in there does their own stuff too. But like a lot of them are part of
and they're okay
Bradley's
with
team and all
them
that. Yeah,
just
it's really
shooting
cool.
their own
Yeah.
stuff? Okay.
At first, I'd feel weird.
This is free promotion.
If I just went to like a 24-hour fitness or whatever, and I was like, "Hey guys," and filming myself, I would feel so weird.
Yeah.
But in Zoo Culture, I don't feel so weird because like a bunch
everyone
of other
else
people
is
are
doing
it too, and that's fun. It's just it's fun. It's inspiring too. Like for me, I'm super inspired when I watch all those videos and see all the weightlifting they're doing and all the different ways they're helping other people. It's not just about showing off your muscles.
Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
about like changing people's lives in certain ways and giving people entertainment and advice and all that stuff. And I kind of gravitated to Bradley's gym too because he talked about his dad passing too, and he's talked about it a lot on his podcast and stuff. And I watched that and just kind of relate a little bit. And it's just cool like finding other ways to have other mentors or other people that inspire you.
Okay.
Because not everyone has like a normal family or the same.
Very true. You never know what someone's kind of going through, or
And then if I can put stuff out there, and then maybe there's other people that are like me, and they can relate and see that, and maybe it'll help them too.
Absolutely,
Cool.
that's great. That actually kind of leads me to a question I was going to ask you. Is you've coached kids, you've kind of
love kids, yeah.
Been through a lot of life experiences. Like, what would you say? Like, what would be just some life advice for kids growing up? Like, it seems like you have a lot of that. What would you, from your own experiences, what would be some things you would say to like the kids growing up these days? 'Cause it's a crazy world.
Yeah, for sure, sports. Like for me, it was like that was where I made my friends. Because after my dad passed, we moved around a lot, and then finally settled like in Biddeford, Maine, 5th grade, and then I didn't move after that. But younger, I moved all around. Like we moved to the Philippines and Hawaii and a bunch of different places in New England. And moved around. It's tough moving around because the new kid always gets picked on and bullied and stuff. And I grew up in Maine, and at that time there was like barely any Filipinos.
Okay.
Everyone thought I was Mexican, and they all call me Mexican or think I speak Spanish. So I can't wait to move to California. There's all kinds of Filipinos out there. And then I move out here, and all the Filipinos and the Mexicans think I'm Mexican too. So I was like, I guess they're not as racist as I thought. But no, I love it out here. It's great out here. What was I saying before that?
Just for like advice you'd give to kids growing up
Yeah.
in today's
But yeah,
world?
sports, just get involved. I mean, of course, jiu-jitsu is going to be my number one now. I wish I knew what jiu-jitsu was back then. But over there in Maine, when I was training, I started 21. I think the professor I was learning from was the only black belt in the whole state. So it wasn't very popular, you know?
Oh, wow.
So when I was a kid, there definitely was going to be hard to find jiu-jitsu out there. But California, it's everywhere. So if you live in California or a kid, find some jiu-jitsu, find some sports, you know, get a mentor, someone that can guide you, you know, because everyone's family life is different. Maybe your parents work a lot, or you don't see them a lot, or maybe you're with your parents too much, or you know, you want to have different influences, positive influences. Have a good coach, whether it be whatever sport. Definitely my top are wrestling and jiu-jitsu, but just getting involved with that anyway, and just building camaraderie with your teammates, learning from your friends, and just getting advice from a good coach. Like it can go a long way. But for jiu-jitsu, like it's huge. I love jiu-jitsu, you know.
Fantastic.
I love teaching kids. Like some people call me like a child whisperer because I'm great with kids.
Okay.
When I first started
How
teaching
long have you been
kids
teaching the
jiu-jitsu,
kids? Because you've been doing your own thing. How long has that been going on?
Yeah, so I mean, like in Maine, I helped a few pee-wee wrestling practices.
Okay. But then you came out here and you started your own thing.
I didn't really like kids. They annoyed me.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because I'm the oldest of 4, and you know, I'm having a single mom. I'd have to babysit all the time for her to work. So I couldn't go out with my friends as much as I wanted to, and I was changing diapers and helping my mom with my siblings, and but by the time I was 18, I was like, I don't need to worry about kids for a long time, you know?
Kid,
Stupid kids. But then so I moved to here in 2009, and started training jiu-jitsu with Bill Cooper in Agora Hills and Westlake Village, Newbury Park in the Ventura County. And it was great. I ended up kind of taking over his kids program over there. They needed a coach, so I kind of like led that a little bit. And
very cool.
And it wasn't so great at first, cause like I said, like kids or whatever. But
I needed
a job.
You gotta have a lot of patience.
You need a lot of patience.
Kids.
But I needed a job.
Okay.
And it was gonna help me to train too, trading for training and everything.
Probably when you're teaching, it kind of helps just reinforce everything that the foundation, you know, fundamentals in your own.
Yeah, definitely helped me get better myself
too
by teaching it to others. But a lot of wrestling programs it's kind of like weed out the weak, you know, whereas jiu-jitsu should be like jiu-jitsu for everyone, you know.
Okay.
It's like weed out the weak is kind of like a lazy approach for a coach, you know. And then that's the approach I took in the beginning. I was like hardcore because I was fighting MMA, and that's all I did. I slept at the gym. All I did was train MMA.
Wow.
I was doing all these fights and stuff. And my teammates were fighting, or just everything was about fighting. And my coach trained me like mean, and I took it well. Like that's what made me better.
Okay.
He'd curse at me, and he'd like scream at me and just like beat me down.
Yeah.
And say, okay.
And that training style worked good for you.
I took to it. And
Yeah.
He knew that, and so that's why he did it to me to push me. You know, he loves me, and everything he's done for me has been amazing. I wouldn't be here without him, and I really took to that type of training, and it helped me. I felt like it helped me a lot. So I was like, I'm going to train these kids like this. And I had a few little beasts, but the program was so small. Like, kids didn't want to do that. So I had to kind of learn and adjust. And over time, I did seminars and learned from other coaches and picked things up and found out stuff online, read books, and just different ways of teaching. And then kind of channeled the patience I had with, in Maine when I was in college, I had a job, our college wrestling coach, he was a manager at Lutheran Social Services, a company taking care of adults with developmental disabilities. Okay. So I got that as a job, and I did that for like 5 years. And
that sounds like another job where you need a lot of patience.
You need a lot of patience, yeah. But to me, I grew to really like it, and then I just kind of thought of like, obviously I was responsible, but I thought of like a lot of the clients and the people I was helping as just like buddies and friends. Like they're really cool, and then that helped me be more patient with them. So then I kind of took that into teaching with kids, and now I love kids. I love kids so much, and it makes me happy because I try to like, you know, hope my dad's proud of me, And
I'm sure he is.
because like growing up not having a father figure, like I want to try to do that for other people.
Yeah.
Even if they have father figures, I still want to like be someone to help their fathers or whoever's
and help them along in life.
raising them, you know, whatever it can do to help and just, you know, give back. So
that's great.
So I really love teaching kids, and my favorite is like toddlers. I love like
oh really
2 to 4 year olds is like my favorite. So
how did they take that? Do they really learn this?
Yeah, you
they really
surprised.
learn.
It's crazy. Like
interesting.
I'm so good with kids. Like I can just like I can connect with them. And
okay.
I'm small. I'm getting bigger lately, but I'm small too. I'm short.
Yeah.
So that kind of helps.
Okay.
But
what do you think in terms of, you know, one thing I think for kids, and you know this could be applied for everybody, but I think you have probably a good kind of expertise in being pushed hard and doing lots of fights. What about like handling losses? Like, you know, that's such a big thing in life, and to handle like situations where things aren't good. Is there some kind of wisdom you kind of impart, or you know, how do you handle losses?
Yeah, no, I talk about that a lot with Nico because I'm like training him every day or with him every day, and you know, just the better we get with controlling our emotions and just learning from our losses. Because like Nico's a little beast, so for his age and size, like he'll beat a lot of kids. But then there's gonna be other kids that beat him too, and he's not won every match, and you know, and you can't win them all. And but because he's so good that when he doesn't do well, it kind of like a lot comes down. It's more of it hurts more. It feels like, you know. So I try to help him a lot with that and just talk to him like, hey, let's find the positive. You got to be a good finder, you know. Just like when I teach, like I could have a class full of crazy kids that aren't doing anything right, but I have to be a good coach to find the one little thing they did do right, and then that kid's gonna see that and they're gonna what, and it's gonna change their attitude, and then they're gonna work harder. They're gonna listen more. If it's like, oh, I'm always telling someone, oh, this is not good, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad, like that's gonna be in their head. So you always want like have some positive.
Focus on the positives.
The positive, yeah. So I try to help that a lot with Nico, and he's just so great. He listens so well. Like we have a good relationship because we both love each other so much, and like he has the he got his work ethic from his parents. They're like amazing. They work so hard.
Yeah,
like,
that's what
oh my God. You see Mario everywhere. And
I was
wife,
noticing I mean, Herna was telling me too just how much like Mario's schedule is like boom, 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 boom. Like he's like, we have this photo shoot, we got to do this, we got to do that, get the video there, and then that's kind of what it was. It's like, okay, we have this slot, and well, that's what it is, and he's got to move on to his next thing, and he's just hustle.
Yeah, and you can see it go right to his kids, because like one good example, back to the movie in Santa Fe, I was taking Nico out there to wrestling practice and everything, but then there was one scene we got to be in. It was a roller skating scene. Nico never roller skated before.
Oh wow!
He put the roller skates on, and he was doing terrible. Like he was just falling so hard all the time. Dude. The first time, of course.
Yeah,
what do you expect? But he was so persistent and determined to get it. He wouldn't leave. He wouldn't leave. He's like, no, I'm gonna get. And then by the end, we were in the scene together.
That's great.
You could see us in the background, like we're holding hands, we're skating together.
Skating
it's
around.
so cool. It's so
That's
much
fantastic.
fun. But that just shows like their work ethic. And I've picked up so much staying with them and learning from them, and like it's made me like a better man. And I work so much harder now because of them. So it's really cool. Yeah. Everything's been great. Like I said before, I was like so depressed. I talk about this in my promotion too, and now I feel like this is the best day of my life, and I feel like tomorrow's gonna be even better.
That's great.
But it's like a lot of it's my attitude. For so long I was so depressed, because like a lot of bad stuff happened, but that's all I would think about, and I would just see the negative. I was just seeing red, you know. I would not just like, I wouldn't see.
Was there something that kind of like switched? Like what was it that kind of transitioned you from that? Like, can you kind of remember or recall like kind of what it was?
I mean,
or was it like a gradual?
It was a gradual, and it was a combination of just like the amazing support I had around me that I didn't always see. Okay. But it was always there. I just like kind of like didn't want to see it. But like the coach I was talking about earlier, Mike Lujan, him and his family, of course Mario Lopez and their family, and my jiu-jitsu professor Orlando Sanchez and his family, like they've just been so supportive, and then people within those circles too, just offering help for me and with everything, and just good friends, and just I think just like the biggest thing that changed my attitude was like gratitude, and just like trying to be grateful for what I did have, because I was always thinking about like what I lost.
The negative.
That's all I would think about. It's like, oh, I lost this. I'm never gonna get that back. I'm always gonna be miserable, this and that, and I just started thinking more about like what I should be grateful for. And it's not hard when you're with Mario Lopez and he's bringing you to like Texas or all these crazy places, or you get to meet this person or that person, and he's just like such a friendly guy and so respectful to everyone, and just works hard, and it's really cool.
So what's next for Donny Flowers? What do you see in 2022? What do you want to do? What are your goals?
So like what we were talking about earlier with the Lopez show.
Okay.
My last name is Flowers. Nico's last name is Lopez. We call it Lopez. G is our director, so she invented that. She thought of that idea. And so yeah, I want to get going with that. Just pull the trigger, start editing the videos, putting out content, even if it's not the best it can be, like learning from it and doing that stuff, and just picking up for more people like you and other people in my life like that I can learn from, and just taking advantage of all my opportunities, get back into competition scene, start doing some more jiu-jitsu tournaments again, taking Nico to some more tournaments.
Okay.
So there's really a lot of stuff I want to do. Gonna be moving to North Hollywood soon, so setting up my new place. So that'll be cool. And let's see what else. Continuing to save money, because you know, it's been my goal for a long time since I started jiu-jitsu, like to have my own jiu-jitsu academy. So I was planning on doing that a while ago, but then stuff happened and I didn't do it, and then the pandemic happened. I was like, it's not the best time now, and now I'm just like kind of focused on all the stuff I'm doing now, but still
that's still kind of
in the back of my mind,
of your mind,
something that's going to be in the future.
Open,
just because like I said, like I'm so proud of how amazing I am with kids, so I want to have a good school with an incredible kids program.
Okay. Fantastic, man. Donny, thank you so much for being on the show. I appreciate it. You were fantastic. I look forward to seeing like what else you're gonna do. Like it seems like you've done a lot like this year, being on TV, doing your YouTube, doing the jiu-jitsu, teaching kids. Like you have a lot on your plate. So I'm excited to kind of see what happens with you next.
Thanks a lot. It's cool because like I don't think about it, just go day by day. But when you say it all like that, like makes me feel really proud, and I really appreciate you having me here. And it's been a lot of fun, and I look forward to maybe coming back again sometime. And hopefully, me and Nico's thing can get bigger, and we can have you guys. We can have you guys on there.
There we go.
That'd be cool.
We'll be there.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Donny.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Thanks for watching the Elevated Look Show. Make sure to subscribe to get the latest episodes delivered directly to you.